Because my sister is demanding that I babysit at 11 p.m., I repeatedly find myself playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my three nephews. Last year, we took a family vacation in the summer to the coast. I rode along with my parents, and they paid for my hotel room, but I had to share the room with three rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead, I ended up having to help with the kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded that I was there for free. We did pretty much only one thing I wanted to do, which was tour an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as last year. But I refused. I said I'd be driving myself and paying for my own hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry, I've got a good job and a decent running car, so I can more than afford it. That's when the budding started. I stated the previously listed things as reasons for driving myself and paying for myself. I want to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child, like last year. My parents told my sister, and she called to blow up at me, saying I'd ruin the vacation if I was off doing my own thing while she had to wrangle her three boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year. All she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to just go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now, my sister is not speaking to me, and my parents are still trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing, but the pressure is getting to me. Am I the jerk for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help. Update. It's barely been an hour since I posted, but my sister is apparently a Reddit lurker in the mornings, and she saw my post. Not only is she furious with me, but she's also upset that no one in the comments is siding with her. To make it short, she went on a big rant about how it's so hard to be a parent to triplets and how the least I could do is help because I'm young and single and she needs a break. I stood my ground on my decision, and now she's calling our parents to get them involved. I'm expecting a call from them any minute. Update 2. Well, I'm off work now, so I can tell more of what went down. I guess you could say it's over.
My sister got our parents involved.
They looked at my post and were absolutely horrified by the continuous influx of commenters. Yes, they're very angry with me for posting here, but I told them that if they had just listened to me to begin with, I would have never needed to. I'm sick of the whole keep the peace mentality that sacrifices me to placate my sister. They, in turn, went off on my sister, and, to make a long story short, the whole vacation has been canceled. The hotel wasn't booked yet anyway, but my parents are arguing with my sister is blaming me, and my nephews are crying because they aren't going to the beach. My sister called me at lunch and basically implied I have no life, which is why I have time to help. I recorded that and told our parents, and that's currently what they're fighting about. Small update. I wasn't going to update again, but here's a little more. My parents said they won't ever push babysitting my nephews on me again and have agreed that what happened last year was unfair to me. Right now, they're very angry with my sister for telling me I should help her because she thinks I have no life. My sister is playing the victim, and my brother-in-law is basically saying nope to the whole mess and spending most of his time at work. Thank you to everyone who has commented. You made my day. Update 3. My parents apologized. My sister did not. At least, not at first. A week ago, I made this throwaway account to ask, am I the jerk? A question I was found to be anything but. I have too much to say to post it in Am I the Jerk? So, here's an update. My posting on Am I the Jerk essentially opened a Pandora's box in the family. Basically, my parents and older sister had become very comfortable with me helping with the child care of my young triplet nephews. I didn't leave home until I was 22 because I was trying to save money while also going to college. A scholarship covered a lot, and living at home kept me from accumulating rising debt from my part-time job. I'm very thankful for this. However, after college, everyone just seemed to act like I had endless time on my hands and convinced me to come along on a family vacation. In this so-called vacation, I was forced to babysit my three, at the time, 6-year-old nephews. I even had to share a hotel room with them, and believe me, those kids did not listen to a thing I said. On the first night, I had to call their mother twice, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to do other things during the trip. If it's something the family doesn't enjoy as a whole, then it doesn't happen, which was extremely hypocritical because I'm family and wasn't included in that vote. You can bet I aired this grievance with my parents after my last post, and they have acknowledged being in the wrong. After that awful vacation last year, I decided it was time to move out and did so before the summer even ended, which surprised everyone since I gave them no warning. I landed a great job right after college, thanks to an internship, and used moving as an excuse to drop my commute from 45 minutes to 15. My sister hated this the most because it meant no more free babysitting on weekends, but she still tried to make me do it. I caved sometimes, usually by being bribed with pizza, and this sort of became a new norm. But then, last month, my parents announced plans for another family vacation to the same place along the coast. They basically wanted it to go the same way as last time. I immediately saw it for what it was, a trap. I knew that if I rode with my parents and let them pay for the hotel rooms, I would be screwed over the same way as last time. So I casually stated I'd drive myself and pay for myself. That's when the storm started. When my parents realized they couldn't entrap me like before, they resorted to borderline begging, and my sister practically tried to order me to go with the flow through gaslighting. Newsflash, I didn't. After I didn't cave to my sister's demands, I made the "Am I the jerk?" post after days of harassment. Then my sister somehow spotted the post in less than an hour. What followed was Pandora's box. At first, the family was against me. My sister called our parents, and they called me when I still had a little time to talk in the morning. My parents were on the phone with me while also reading my post. I asked them if anything in the post was a lie. They sort of steered around it and called the post an exaggeration, but I pointed out numerous details that made it pretty much on the mark. Then I told them to check the comments. They were already far too many to read. I was repeatedly refreshing the page on my home PC and telling them how many comments there were. Then I told them I was sick of their mentality of keeping the peace by forcing me to placate my sister. I then said I was out of time and we would have to resume this later. My parents were positively horrified that hundreds, if not thousands, of people were commenting in a matter of hours. Later on, I told them the numbers had basically doubled and were still growing, which only added to their horror. So, I guess they were forced to take a long look at their own actions. My sister tried to call me while I was at work, but my phone was on silent until my lunch break, so all she could do was leave messages and texts. She was persistent and managed to get through to me when I was eating my lunch. The gist of the conversation was that my post had taken our parents away from her side, and now they were mad at her. In the ensuing argument between them, my parents canceled the entire vacation. Yes, they later acknowledged they just passed the blame out of embarrassment and fully accepted fault. They told me no excuses could excuse the fact they made me their go-to free babysitter when I wasn't even living at home anymore. They did try to backtrack a little by pointing out they never charged me rent while I was in college, but I reminded them kids don't ask to be born, and I was doing my hardest to make my own way. Then, I pointed out how a vacation should be fun for everyone, and last year, I never once felt like I could enjoy myself. My parents apologized several times and said it would never happen again. I spoke with my brother-in-law, and he said he felt sorry for me, but I didn't blame him. I get that he's in the position of being a father and supporting his family, so I don't expect too much from him. I can tell he's embarrassed about the whole thing too. I haven't heard from my nephews since then. But honestly, as much as I love those kids, my time has to be mine too.